guys, we're going to be talking about the anterior pelvic tilt today, and we'll be going over some exercises to help strengthen it as well. So
we should say, what is it first?
perfect. So an anterior pelvic tilt, usually the pelvic or the hip bones are going to tilt forward, and so what happens when it tilts forward is your quadriceps get a little tighter, they're overactive, and then the muscles behind, like the hamstrings and the glutes, kind of become a little bit weaker. It also gives you a little curvature in the spine, so it is a little bit more uncomfortable in the lower back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of looks like a C shape almost, would you say? Like you try to envision it if your pelvis is this way.
Yeah, kind of like a bagel, and you cut it open, and it's like a C. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect.
Wait, which way are you cutting the bagel?
Just on the side. Cutting the bagel on the side, and it's like a C.
Okay. Alright, so...
A great way to know if you do have an anterior pelvic tilt is if you perform the Thomas test.
Okay.
You want to try the Thomas test out?
Yeah.
Alright, we got a nice big box over here. So you can lay down towards the edge of the box, and we're going to have our feet hanging. So the first step for this Thomas test is you want to tuck your knees up towards your chest, and you're going to slowly lean back. So this is going to show us if we have any tight hips or any tight IT bands. If this leg lifts up over here, it shows us a tight hip. If it goes out to the side a little bit, it's going to tell us that we have a tight IT band.
Am I doing either of those?
Julia's looks perfect.
Okay, so...
It's nice and loose, flexible.
So what would it look like then if I did, so I can show what they're looking for?
Perfect. So when you're coming down over here, you're going to see a slight lift over here as she's tilting back. It's going to come off of the bench. With this one, she's kind of extending too. So this shows that the quadriceps are very overactive over here. And if it was to kind of come out of the midline of the body, out to the side over here, it's going to tell me that she has a really tight IT band.
Okay. The IT band is here, and then quads are here, so I can't relax down because the quad would be too tight.
Perfect, exactly.
And then I go out this way, because if I pull it this way, it's stretching the IT band.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. Cool. All right, so Thomas test. That's something new for me.
So if you do have an anterior pelvic tilt, do you know of any exercises to help kind of strengthen that?
Yeah, so since it's the quads that are tight, your glutes would also be, if they strengthen, that would help to push that tilt forward a little bit. So going into a deep lunge stretch like this, and then focusing on squeezing your glutes and pushing your hips forward in this position. This quad is also going to get a stretch in it when I do that. So when I'm here, I feel a stretch in my hip a little bit, but then when I push forward, I really feel it coming down the inside of my hip here and all the way down my quad. So that's stretching the quad and the hip area, and also strengthening your glute at the same time.
So with this motion, you're kind of just pushing the hips back into the opposite motion to
Right.
kind of...
Yeah, so kind of like a hip thrust, you could think. So pushing forward there. So that's one. And then I guess the other muscle that would be, that would need some strengthening is your core. So your core and your glutes, you can get at the same time with this one. And that's going to be a kickback. So raising the leg up, I'm doing it with a flat foot. So I'm working on my core here because of the stability aspect, and then pushing through my heel and working the back of my leg. So same muscle group here as when we did this. Just this one I'm pushing this way, and this one I'm pushing that way, and this adds a core component to it too.
Cool. When those get a little bit easier, people can start adding like bands to their hips or... Cool.
Yeah, bands. We also have a machine for the kickback. So that would be over here in the front. We want to show that one as another option. So that's this machine labeled glute, because that's what it's working. Have you done this one, Mark?
Yeah, you know, when I do this one, I really like to emphasize my heel turning in towards the midline because it does help you kind of use the glutes a little bit better.
Okay.
When I use this one, I find people, they're going to try to put their foot kind of just straight. and in line with everything, and that's not bad, but it's just harder to get a good squeeze with the glutes back there. So I like to turn my heel a little bit towards the body.
I see.
All right, and so when I'm coming back to 90 degrees and then I'm pushing again now, it's much easier for me to get a big squeeze and a contraction in those glutes.
So your foot's in that angle right now that you want, rather than your toe facing straight down?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my toe's kind of facing out and my heel's kind of turning in towards my body.